I'm Andreas, and this is my world. I first started painting about 4 years ago. It was before I entered high school. One day in the summer, I was just bored, and I just got a pencil, got paper, and I just started making stuff. I just choose to paint when I get inspired by something. When all of a sudden I could wake up, I could be in class, and I just have this idea that I just want to create and show. A lot of other artists that make very inspiring pieces just through life events. You could be going through a hard time, or you can just be super happy, or even just see other inspiring things that get you inspired. I like finding art like this in the city because it's just random. Stumbling upon art and how it has so much into it. So there's music, clothing, food, taste, and then there's just random graffiti there with some people's slogans or even roaches. Just the randomness that art just brings everything together. Favorite medium would be the one I mainly use, would be airbrush. Not many people use airbrush. You could barely find anyone that does. And it's just so versatile, so much more than just a pencil or paint. You have so much more control. Airbrush is actually very challenging. You need to know how to manage the airbrush gun first. You need to know how to do the right paint mixtures. You need to know how to do the right technique with it. And it's very taxing on your hand to constantly hold down the airbrush gun. But it's definitely not something for everyone. I did have art classes, but even my art teachers could say that they didn't really ever have much to teach me because I already kind of knew how to do everything. I would say what got me into painting was my uncle. Growing up, I would see him doing art, and that kind of influenced me over time, just wanting to do that, wanting to just create stuff. Some artists that inspire me are Sage Barnes. You can look on Instagram, I see his art a lot, where there's one piece especially that it's a guy in a suit and tie, and he is holding these two extensions. When he connects it, that the light, like his head is a neon light, and it shows how everyone feels that they need to flip a switch, turn this thing on when they're around people. From switching to physical art to digital art, it's been a little bit tricky, not too much. It's very different from hands-on, from pencil, doing it on paper. If you mess up, you could just erase it, but you have to keep switching between different tools. But with digital, it's just all there. It's just your mouse, your trackpad and everything. And if you mess up, you can always just hit Command Z and undo it. Favorite art piece would definitely be the last big one I did. It was for art competition piece, strictly like an art competition in Texas, that every year I entered it, made a perfect score without going to state, but this one I did. It was a 2x3 foot airbrush piece of how entertainers nowadays are kind of slaves to the audience, and how no matter how much sweat, blood, and tear you have as an entertainer, it kind of doesn't mean much. I felt like I wanted to make more pieces that have more meaning. There's this one piece that I made that it's with charcoal, that it's dark, and there's this light silhouette on these two hands reaching for each other. Special connection, it showed me that I finally started making art with meaning. The meaning is just that even in the darkest times that you can reach out and someone will reach back. Whether you interpret art or it has a literal meaning, I think is up to the artist, the one who created it, because they created it for a reason, whether it was awareness for something or about society, some deep meaning, or they just made it and they're like, you know what, you can interpret it what it means to you. And people with different circumstances in life or things they've gone through will interpret art differently. A little over a year ago, my mom was in the hospital because she had a really large tumor, and things weren't really looking good for a while, which I, not having been through that, especially with my parents, it was really hard to, even go through life, because I was always worrying if I was going to lose her, which broke me down all the time. And for a while I just stopped wanting to do things, losing interest in things. I even almost stopped doing art completely because I just thought like this is nothing. Like
then I thought like I wanted to do something really nice for my mom. So I ended up making her this piece I did by hand for of her favorite flower. And by the time I finished it and I gave it to her, she was really happy. And that kind of showed me like art isn't something I was just doing like as a hobby, but is something that I should be doing. Seeing people's reaction to the art I make or how they get really excited about the things I make kind of gave me purpose and showed me what I really should be doing in life. I feel I contribute quite a bit to the art world with the things I create, and it kind of shows me that I'm in my element.